Welcome to Keys and Credit, your no fluff, no nonsense real estate and mortgage podcast. I am Bill, the no bullshit realtor.
And I'm Barb, your no fluff lender.
Whether you're a first time buyer, seasoned investor, or just real estate curious, you're in the right place.
What are we going to talk about today, Bill?
What are we going to talk about today, Barb? Let's talk about
Credit.
credit. Let's talk about credit. All things credit, lots and lots of credit,
How important it is.
and how important. I mean, yeah, honestly, it's the world runs off fake money. It's how you buy a house. Right?
and what our score is. You
Yeah.
know, it's going to determine how likely you are to pay back the thousands of dollars we borrow you for a mortgage loan.
And if so, the root of credit is to show your credit worthiness, to
Correct.
show lenders that you're okay to borrow money to.
Yep.
Right? There are some people that are against it. They just want to use cash.
It's not going to help because we're not showing how you maintain your credit.
Right. Yep. Cash is great, but
Cash is great.
All
It
right.
is king. But when it comes to needing to borrow money, we need to show that you can pay it back.
right. Otherwise, rate's not going to give you a dime. They're not going to give you nothing. Nope.
No, it's going to be difficult. So if
So-
you want to check your credit, without harming your score, you can go to annualcreditreport.com
Okay.
and you can get one free credit report per year.
So
And you'd want to do that to see kind of where your credit score's at and make sure that your payments are all applying on time.
is that okay? So let's talk about real quick hard pulls and soft pulls.
Yeah.
Is
So
that going to affect your credit?
no, it's a softball.
That's soft. Pull.
It's
Okay.
a way to maintain your credit and see what's going on with it.
Okay.
Kind of know what improvements you need to do.
Yep.
And where you're sitting when it comes to your
So
credit score.
I use Credit Karma, right? And Credit Karma is, just so everybody knows, it's a feel good application, right?
Yeah.
When my Credit Karma scores are say 750 ish, my real scores from where you pull are probably like a 730.
Yeah. So the
It
difference
makes
is
you feel good.
Yeah.
You know.
So Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, annualcreditreport.com, they're just showing what your credit score potentially
Yep.
is, but you haven't applied for credit.
But you can't. So
When-
you can't use that to set it in stone. It's just
No.
a really good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a
okay.
good tool to use in your tool belt
Right.
to know kind of where you're at. So when you apply for credit, whether it's a credit card or an auto loan or a mortgage loan, they're going to use different scoring models to determine what your credit score is. There's 3 credit reporting agencies: Experian, TransUnion,
So
and
wait a minute.
Equifax.
Wait a minute. Let's back it up a little bit here. So you're saying there's a different score for car loans, a different score for home loans, and a different score for just like regular credit cards?
Very likely, because once again, your mortgage is considered your long-term debt.
Yep.
So generally over 30 years. Your car loans, student loans, credit cards, those are your short-term debt.
Yep.
So they're using a different scoring model to determine how your credit performance is for those credit line types.
Sure. Okay. And you pull all 3, right? Not the 3 different types, but the 3 different bureaus.
Yep.
Right.
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
Okay.
And each one is going to give you a different score generally. Sometimes I've seen where it's the same exact score, but the reason why they're different is some creditors will only report to 2 bureaus or maybe even only 1 because it costs that creditor money to report to the credit bureaus.
So we had a question on our closing last week. Before you got there, we were sitting there just getting IDs ready and stuff, and they asked which one that rate used for their score. Do you just take an average?
No, middle.
Middle score.
Yep.
Oh,
So let's just
so you don't take the low score?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay. All
So
right.
let's just say someone, their Experian 700, TransUnion's 690, and Equifax is 680.
Yep.
It's going to be off the 690.
Okay,
The
all right.
middle credit score of the 3.
Well, that's kind of nice.
When there's 2 borrowers, it's the middle credit score, but the lower of the 2 borrowers.
Oh.
That's called your credit decisioning score. And that's
Oh.
what everything's based
A
off.
credit decisioning score. That
Yeah.
is the first time I've heard that.
So your credit decisioning score
Credit
will
decisioning score.
determine like, okay, this program requires a minimum of 640. If the credit decisioning score, so the middle score between 2 borrowers, or even if it's 1 borrower, the middle credit score, that would be their
So
credit
if you have a
if it's
middle
below 640.
So if you have a middle score of 820 on one and a middle score of 639 on the other, that's
Yeah.
a decline if you need to see 640.
If their middle score is 639, yes, it would
Because
be
you're taking that's
the
crazy.
middle though.
The middle, right? That's what I'm saying.
So then their score better be below that 639 if that's what you're using, right?
Okay, yeah.
But if they had an 820, a 750, and a 629, we're taking the 750.
Right. No, I'm saying for two borrowers. So say borrower
Oh,
A had a
yes.
820 middle, borrower B had a 639 middle.
Yeah.
You'd have to go with borrower B, even though borrower A is phenomenal.
Yes.
Wow, that sucks. Okay. Interesting.
So then we look at, okay, what is borrower B bringing to the table since their score is there? Because what also goes into credit score would be your interest rate.
Okay.
The higher your credit score is, the better your interest rate.
That's another thing people don't get. So, sorry, I don't want to mess up your flow, but that mortgage rate that you guys see and that people advertise, that is for good credit. Fantastic.
Yeah, you have to look at the little disclaimers on the bottom. Sometimes it'll be with 800 plus credit score.
Right. Yep.
50% down.
And that's so people
when someone's putting 3% down, the more you put down, the better your rate's going to be because you have more equity going in. You have more skin in the game.
I get that from people. They're like, well, it says, mortgage rates are 6.7. It's like, yeah, but your credit score is like a 610. It sucks. You don't get that good rate. They're going to make you pay a little more because your credit worthiness is not where it should be. Right. You haven't proven that you can pay it back. They don't trust you.
Right.
So
some suggestions. Check out where your scores are at. Know where they are. Don't do hard credit pulls because that's going to drop your score. Pay your bills on time.
Right.
That's going to be definitely helpful. And that makes up about 35% of the score that you are given is your on-time payments, right? Have lower credit utilization. And what that means is if the limit on your credit card is $3,000, don't owe more than 30%, so don't owe more than $1,000. Optimal utilization, though, would be 10%. So once again, $3,000 limit, you would maybe try to not owe more than $300.
Right.
That's going to give you a great score. It is for 10%, you're going to have a great credit score. 30%, it's still going to be good, right? It's optimal. 50%, well, it's going to be trickling down. 75%, it's going down. 90%, you're almost to your limit. Your scores, you're going to have the lowest score.
So mine right now, not full disclosure, but because of my lawyer that I had to pay last year is up a ways.
For your divorce?
For my divorce. And my credit came way down. As soon as I started using it, it went from like an 820 down to like a 7 or something like that, which is fine. It just shows you're using your cards, Yep. But I want to get to this one, the next one.
So avoid another thing to not do is avoid closing old accounts.
Okay, so here's a myth. So if you close a credit account, you assume that it's good. Say you pay off something, close it down. It's like, hey, I paid this off. Why is that a bad thing?
Well, because now you've closed that account. That old account is helping lengthen your credit history.
The credit history, showing your ability to pay back money that's borrowed. So if that account is still open, say it's a revolving credit card, right? Say that account is still open. You brought it up to say $4,000, brought it down to zero, brought it up to $3,000, brought it down to zero. This is all history. Okay, it's tacking up that credit score. And then you pay it down to zero and then close it, that history goes away.
It does.
It goes away.
It does.
Right?
Now, your old cards, you're going to want to make sure you use them because if they're stale,
they'll close them.
They'll close them on you.
That's happened to me before. Yep. I get a notice saying, hey, your credit card is closed. I'm like, but that one, I think it was one of my Amazon cards. Right. Sure. I was like, but that's what I like that one. I just didn't use it for like a year and a half because I just wasn't paying attention. And they just shut it off. I just, guess what? Fucker, you're not. Hang on, I'll mark that one down.
Another helpful thing.
Good today with swear words.
Another helpful thing though is limit new credit applications. Now, if you have a lower score and you're trying to increase your credit score, then yes, you should open a credit card or 2, but not 10.
Okay.
Because if you open a credit card or 2, or maybe even 3, you've got 3 cards that, you're using it very minimally.
But you have to use it.
You have to use it.
Here's a problem that some people run into is they'll open this credit card because we're building credit. We have a lot of people right now that are building credit, getting ready for their first home. Okay.
Yep.
what you have to do, or what people think you do, is you open it and you leave it.
Mhm.
Like, no, you have to use it. You
Right.
have to put, say, 20, 30, $40 on it. Let that statement turn.
Mhm.
Let it show that it was used. Then you pay it off.
Yep.
Okay, so now it shows that it was used and it was paid. You do that 3, 4 times, and you are off to the races because it
Right.
shows you're utilizing credit,
Right.
and
Right.
using credit.
Well, and then too, okay, so you open it, and let's just say you opened it in July. Well, in August, you're not automatically going to get a score because you haven't used it, or maybe you have used it, but you haven't even paid yet.
And it takes them
And it,
forever to report anything,
well,
unless
once,
it's delinquent, right? And
well,
it's,
right now,
anyways.
but they only report once a month
Yeah.
on a certain day, each creditor. Usually by the 9th of the month, all creditors have reported to the credit bureaus. Um, but they're only doing it once a month. So I get a lot of questions like, well, I just paid my bill last week. Well, when do they report?
Right. Why can't you see it? Why can't we use that? Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
I mean, because it costs them to report to the credit bureaus once
Yeah.
again. So that's why sometimes they only report to one or two, and sometimes not all
Now,
three.
this is something, this opening new credit cards or new credit accounts, this is something you do pre-mortgage, pre-approval. Okay, you don't do this during the process. This is getting ready to jump into the
Yeah.
pre-approval process,
Yeah.
right?
So people will call me and their scores won't be where they need to be.
Yep.
And I'll give them suggestions on how to improve their scores.
Yep.
Opening new credit lines, I think what you're referring to is when you're in the process under contract, no opening, no new credit.
Sounds very, very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's Cody just poking around the corner.
Yeah, because
we dealt with that
during
actually 2 days ago. So yeah.
So during the process, your credit is going to be monitored. Not that we're nosy, but we want to make sure that if you have opened up new credit, what that payment is to be able to include that in your debt to income ratio to make sure you still qualify.
And here's another thing I say too. So it's not the fact that these people, when you're in the mortgage process, it's not the fact that they want to delve into your lives. They don't care what you're doing. They want to make sure that when they give you that $3, $4, $500,000, it's going to be paid back.
Right.
So they're going to watch the entire time you're in that pre-approval process before they give you the money to make sure that you are still using your credit correctly. You're not making any payments
Right.
different, right? And you can still afford it.
Well, right. And
Right.
because my job and the underwriter's job is to prove your ability to repay.
Yep.
And if your debts are too high versus your income, it gets harder and harder to prove your ability to repay
Yep.
to be able to lend you the money.
Yep. And nobody wants to default, especially
No.
a lender. A lender does not. A lender does not. So there's a thing I've heard too here and there, and this is from people that had a foreclosure.
Mhm.
They think that the lender wants your house. They want you to foreclose so they can take. A lender wants your interest. They
Yeah.
want to make sure that you pay your mortgage, pay your loan, so they can collect the interest. They don't want your house. If you are having trouble, they will work tirelessly night and day to make sure that you can keep your house
Right.
because
They're not in the business
it's
to own your home.
yeah, and they're
It's going to
not,
cost them too much money.
and that's not because they're nice. Like when they grant you forbearance or something like that, it's not because they're nice. It's because they want to keep making that money, right?
Right.
And these are just so.
But
Yeah.
unfortunately, if you don't pay your loan back, you are going to be
Oh, you're
foreclosed
losing
on.
it. Yep, they're taking
Yeah.
it. Yep, for sure.
Yeah. And you kind of want to have, if you can, a mixed bag of credit, meaning you want credit cards and maybe a small personal loan.
Diversity, right?
Yes, because that's
Yeah.
going to help build your credit score as well.
Right. You can't just have one prepaid credit card for the past 20 years.
Mhm.
You can, but it's not going to look that great. If you have a car, a motorcycle, a credit card, 2 houses paid off, another car paid off, a lease on your Ferrari that you just paid off last year, it's going to look pretty good. You know, it really is.
Mhm.
Fucking Cody.
So there's some fast track
It's funny.
tools,
He's
Bill.
like, sorry.
There's some fast track tools that can help build your credit. One would be
What would be fast track tools?
uh,
Barred with Rate Inc.
a secured credit card. Do you know what a secured credit card is?
I do, but I'm sure there's some people out here that don't know that there's a difference.
Okay. So
Okay.
a secured credit card would be where you apply for a credit card, and if your credit score is in the 500, say, you're likely to be approved for a secured credit card. What that is you're going to give that creditor the balance, so the amount of your credit line
Mhm.
that they then hold. So let's just say your credit limit's $300. You're going to give them $300 for them to give you the credit card.
Yep.
Now, because you've given them the $300, you still have to do the work of charging.
Hang
Once
on.
again, less than 30%, optimal is
Yep.
10%, and then paying it off. And you need to do that for probably 3 to 6
Yeah.
months, right? And that's going to build your credit score.
And then
And
the
that's,
credit
and
issuer will report that
yeah,
as
correct.
a credit card. It'll show as a secured card, but it shows that you're using
Yep. Yep.
that money correctly,
Yep.
right? Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about, is showing that you have good credit
Yeah.
performance.
So US Bank has a program. I used it many years ago. Some of our clients have used it as well. They'll start you on a secured, say a $300 to $500 card. After 6 months or a year of using it, paying it off, using it, paying it off, they will transfer that to an unsecured card, give you your money back, put it back in your account, and now you have an unsecured
Hmm.
credit card. So it's an
Right.
automatic switch.
Right.
So
It's a great credit builder.
yep.
Yep.
Uh,
Another option would be an authorized user. So if you have
Cosign, is that the same thing as a
no,
cosign?
no, an
Something different?
authorized user on a credit card. So, for example, if you have a family member that has a good credit score,
Mhm.
if they were willing to, they could add you as an authorized user to their credit card, and then um, they're making on-time payments. You're an authorized user. You could use the card, but they're making the payments.
So real
Generally,
quick,
the card holder is.
parents too. So this is what I do with my kids. Been doing it since they were 15. They just don't know it yet. They're authorized user on 2 of my cards. They don't know it because they're too young. But when they, become an adult and they need to start using credit, they're going to have it.
Right.
Right. Proactive, like you wouldn't believe, because I wanted to make sure this how this world runs is off fake money. So as an authorized user, they have a card. They use it every now and then in their name, but it goes off my credit to build theirs.
Right.
Is what you're saying, right?
Correct. My 2 youngest are on
Right.
2 cards, and they don't know it either.
That's so.
They don't have access to the cards.
And so parents, think about that. If your kids are young, you don't have to give them the card.
No.
Just put them as an authorized user.
They
It
came in the
doesn't
mail,
matter.
and then they went and shredded it.
So mine are very frugal and they're very trustworthy, which is, I can't believe my kids are trustworthy. It just blows me away. But they
You
have their
raised
own,
them all.
right, and they have their own cards with their own name on it, attached to my account, and they just, they call me, say, "Dad, can I use it?" They use it, and then we just pay
Now,
them,
keep in mind, authorized users are not they'll build their credit and they'll get a credit score, and that'll be great. We can see that it's an authorized user, though,
But
on the lending side.
Yeah, so it's
we
not like
can
an
see,
actual account, right?
yeah, we can see that they're an authorized user. We can see that it's trying to help build this person's credit, right? Because they're an authorized user. Because an authorized user is only authorized to use the card.
Yeah.
They're not obligated to pay it back. And once again, we are looking at what their credit performance is.
And
So it's
see,
going to help their score, but you should have a secured card.
this is common sense to us.
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine if
So
it
if
wasn't?
you had 2 secured credit cards and you were an authorizer on 2 cards for your parents, so now you've got 4.
Yeah.
That's enormous, because there's going to be 4 cards reporting to the credit bureaus once a month, and your score is going to go up.
And that's so when my girls hit 18, I'm going to get them a prepaid. So they'll be authorized and a prepaid. So they're ready, right? Who knows what they're going to use it for? I don't care. They can destroy it if they want once they're older, but I want them to start. So when it comes to pre-approvals mortgage process, it's the same pretty much concept. It is.
It will also help them if they choose to go to school, right? If they choose
Yeah.
to go to higher education for student loans, it will also help them buying an auto,
Right.
and having an auto loan.
Mhm. Yep. It's just a start.
It's just a
Right.
start,
So-
right? Because we all have to start somewhere. Because people will say, well, and this would be someone in their 20s. Well, my mom has an 800 credit score. Well, your mom has had credit for 30 years, and you've had it for 3. So our credit scores develop and grow with us over time. The one in their 20s, they haven't had it long enough, so the credit history isn't there. Mom's credit history is there. Because she's had it for a long time.
And this is so back to mortgage. We're seriously going left field here. Back to mortgage pre-approvals, all that stuff. When it comes to credit, Barb can walk you through this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Or any good lender can walk you through this. We always told ourselves here, but whatever. If you don't know where to start, you want to buy a house, you don't have credit, it doesn't mean that you can't.
No, we
I
can
mean,
show you how to get
seriously.
on the road to get there.
Yep. Instead of going, well, I'm just going to try and figure this out myself. How many times have we done that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know what? Let's have a conversation about how this works.
Mhm.
Figure out where you're at, because when when rate pulls it, or whoever, when rate pulls it, they'll do a soft pull.
Yeah,
It
I do a
won't-
soft pull.
Yeah.
And then we do a hard credit inquiry when you're under contract.
When you're ready.
But
yeah.
right. and under contract, meaning a purchase agreement.
Yep.
We want your score to be able to bloom and blossom during that period. And so a soft
You
credit
like
pull
lit up when you said that.
is
Yeah,
going
Bloom,
to
awesome.
is a soft credit pull is going to give us the big picture
Yes.
of where you're at.
And you can start paving the road for them.
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, well, because we've had this before too. Well, the last lender said, call me in a year when you figure it out. Fuck that. We're gonna figure it out with you.
Right.
We're gonna show you how to do it, and then in 6 to 12 months, you'll be ready, and we'll know you're gonna be ready because we helped you do it.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so
about 12 months before applying, you're going to reach out to a lender, kind of see where you're at, see if there's anything that needs to be improved, like such as paying down debt or building up a credit history. Then about 6 months before, you're going to avoid any new accounts or big, large purchases. So new accounts. Well,
you knew that was coming.
because that will harm your debt to income ratio.
Okay.
So
a new account actually pulls it down.
it can,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Every credit inquiry and when it is granted to you, so a new credit card, your credit score is going to drop at first
Yep.
because we haven't seen your payment history.
Right.
Then as you've made purchases, small purchases,
Everything is
and
about
payments.
this history, this good history of doing things correctly.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then about 3 months before, you're going to want to keep your balances as low as possible. And then also double check your reports.
And this is before you're doing a pre-approval process, right?
Yep.
Now, if you're ready, so since we're on the pre-approval process, if you're ready, you can get them pre-approved in minutes. In minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So say you went through this entire process with Barb. You started with zero credit. You got a unsecured card, went to a secured card, found your dream car, bought that, paid that down. Barb's got everything ready to rock, and you call and say, hey, you know what? I want to buy a house. She can approve you like that.
Right.
Because you went through the process, paved the road, we did everything correct.
Correct.
Right? I mean, and there's a lot of people that we've done that too. Those closings are awesome. And we're like doing high fives and shit. That's just, it's awesome when we start from that.
Well, because they've done all the hard work, right?
Yep.
And now they're getting the payoff, the reward, the new home.
Right. Yeah. And it's
helping them achieve their goals.
It's work. So I was talking to someone about this earlier. People that see the stuff that other people have, whether it's a house, a car, somebody worked for it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Nothing is given.
No.
Nothing. Well, there are some silver spooners, but most of the time you have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort. This is how this works. And people are like, well, I want this house. It should just be given to me. It's not. Nobody's going to give you anything. Nobody's going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nobody's going to do it for you. We'll show you how to do it.
Right.
But we can't do it for you. Right.
No.
It's hard work. It is.
Right.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Right.
It is,
I mean,
right.
It is. Yep.
Well, it is the American dream.
Barb with Rate Inc., one of the most wicked lenders out there. Get her talking. It's good. It's good. There's not much she doesn't know. Thanks for tuning in to Keys and Credit, where the only thing inflated isn't the market, it's your knowledge. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend or leave us a review. It helps more than you think.
More than you think.